Hello, welcome to the Weather Hazard Briefing issued by National Weather Service Pocatello for Sunday, May 7th. Here's what you'll see in this presentation. Our key points are the west coast low affecting weather through now at least Friday. That means rain and high elevation snow for every 24-hour period through Friday afternoon now. The longest break, though, that you'll see in the precipitation will be tonight into Monday about midday or so. We are also looking for it to be breezy this afternoon and evening, and again Thursday afternoon and evening, but none of this is serious wind, maybe gusts to above 30 miles an hour, but sustained winds staying below that. There is, as far as the snow goes, this is the heaviest snow is falling this morning. That will continue into the overnight hours, and progressively through the week, we will be getting warmer each day, so we don't expect as much snow day to day as we'll be getting today. Additional rainfall may offset the colder temperatures when it comes to flooding issues. And so the best thing with the flooding issues is to check the latest on our website. There are still a number of locations that are having flooding problems, and I would refer you to there. There's a good chance of some dry weather for the next weekend, but there's no guarantee at this point. Still, even the precipitation beyond Thursday is highly in doubt. We look at our computer models to agree with each other on what will be happening, and we don't see a whole lot of agreement in that time period beyond Thursday. All right, so here's a satellite image. Here's where the low is right now. As you can see, it's over southwestern Idaho, and it is spreading the moisture. You can see the clouds moving from south to north. Later on this afternoon, there will be enough breaks in the sunshine to generate some thunderstorm activity, so we have more of that today. Here's what it looks like out in the Pacific, in our Pacific loop here. You can see just a chain of lows from the Aleutians into the Gulf of Alaska, then off the coast of Oregon here, and this will be the main low that's creating the havoc, and then these lows will eject from it and move through. But on tomorrow, Monday, this low, as you can see, it's moving pretty good. That will be moving into Oregon and itself creating the precipitation for Monday onward. Here's where the lightning was yesterday. The thunderstorm activity, you can see it was mostly south of I-86 and west of I-15, but we did get some east of I-15, and we did get a lone strike up in the Mackay area. All right, here are the snowfall amounts overnight. You could see it was mainly focused in the Teton Pass area, and then some of the mountains, the higher elevations in the Central Idaho Mountains. And they're getting light snow down into the pass regions. Pretty much every pass that's fairly common, whether it's going into Montana, Wyoming, or Galena Summit. Here are the low temperatures this morning. You can see with the cloud cover, we stayed fairly mild. A few places, though, approaching getting close to freezing at least. Okay, here's our outlook for the next 5 days. Today we're just in yellow because of there is some minor impacts with the mountain snow accumulating to some light to moderate amounts. But once we get past there, the snow accumulation is much lighter. There's a lot of freeze thaw. We don't see any winds. The thunderstorms, at least through Tuesday, we see no chance of any sort of severe threat from these. And so there's little to no impact, although there will be rain and thunderstorms. And the one thing we do have to look out for is the flooding situation. So getting into the forecast, here we are looking at rain and snow mix in our mountainous regions, and that's includes thunderstorm activity because these will be in the form of showers. You can see in the Snake River Plain all the way over to the Treasure Valley, that whole low elevation area, just rain and thunderstorms. So let's see how this will progress. Here's the snowfall amounts this morning. This will sort of be the peak of snow accumulations. You can see even at Sun Valley, it's just a dusting, haily, nothing. But then you get into Stanley Basin, it's less than an inch actually in Stanley. So a lot of those low elevations won't be getting too much. And then in the afternoon, as you would expect, with the temperatures warming, the amount of snow actually decreases. And then this evening, as the low starts to move away, there's just a few very high elevation sites that may be getting some light snow. And then overnight tonight, you can see it's pretty much wrapped up, except along the Continental Divide. So this is the total for the 24 hours, starting at 6 a.m. this morning, going until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. You can see there are areas of 6 to 10 inches or so, maybe even a foot. But these are all extreme high elevations, so unless you are headed into the back country, you're not going to see that kind of snow. Most of the snow along the freeways is staying at 6 inches or less, with Galena Summit barely looks like getting 6 inches. Here's our severe weather outlook, or basically our convective outlook. You can see it's all the light green, which is just general thunderstorms. As you can see, it covers our entire area. All right, rainfall due to these showers and thunderstorms. You can see we are expecting definitely some wetting rains, anywhere from 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch in Pocatello for the lower elevations. Gets a little bit higher, especially if you go into the central Idaho mountains, where the focus will be today, and then over in the Big Hole Mountains as well. It's in excess of 1/4 of an inch. The more southeast you get, though, the lighter it is. A lot of locations below 1/10. Wind gusts this morning, and these will be fairly consistent through the day as far as the location. Watch over the Arco Desert and the Mud Lake, Territon areas. That's where it's going to stay breezy today. These are the gusts, so these would be basically winds that would last about 2 minutes for what we consider a peak wind or a gust. And you can see it's barely crossing into the 30 to, there's some 35 mile an hour winds out there. And this afternoon increases a little bit more. And then by this evening it starts to die down. But you can see it's still over pretty much the same area. It does shift slightly to the north into the Spencer and Du Bois areas. High temperatures for today, a little bit cooler than yesterday. And temperatures Monday morning, we are, as I said, looking for a break in the precipitation. We also have a break in the clouds. And you can see how cold we're getting. No more 40-degree temperatures down at the lower elevations. It's all solidly from freezing around 32 to around 36. And so this is why a frost advisory has been issued for this morning. Temperatures get below the frost threshold of 36 degrees right around shortly after midnight to around 1 a.m. They'll continue below freezing in location, or not below freezing, but below frost levels for the rest of the overnight, and then into the morning with sunrise, it'll start to warm again. But still, even till 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, Monday morning, we are looking for temperatures to remain somewhere in that area in the Snake River Plain of staying below 36 degrees. But by 10 o'clock, it should start warming to above. All right, so the forecast for Monday, you could see high pressure starting to move in, but there's still some lows lingering in the Great Basin that will continue to cause precipitation. You can see it is getting warmer in our southern highlands, where they are looking for it to be rain and thunderstorms and getting rid of the snow mix. So let's look at, and that's just because it's a slightly warmer, so you need a higher elevation to get significant snow accumulations, and they just don't have it down there in that part of Idaho. So here we start out, again, we have a big break in the morning, then Monday afternoon, you can see it's mostly in the central Idaho mountains, and there's a smattering of precip in the big holes and places between Oakley and Sweetser Summit. But again, pretty high elevation and no roads through there. Monday evening, continue some light snow again at just very high elevations. I would say that's in excess of 8,500 feet. And then late night Tuesday, it does come down a little bit, and so the snow does a little bit, but it's still only 2 inches maximum in there. So the total snowfall amounts for Monday 6 a.m. to Tuesday 6 a.m. You can see it's really not amounting to much. There are some places that will get around 2 to 3 inches, but they're extremely high, and almost none of that snow on Route 75 going through Galena Summit. Teton Pass, less than an inch, and it looks like I-15 and US 20 should be pretty snow-free during this period with nothing but rain falling at those elevations. Here is the thunderstorm outlook. Again, there's no chance of severe thunderstorms, but some general thunderstorms with the exception of the Teton Valley. And here are the total rainfall amounts. You can see they're falling off considerably, the maximum being around 0.2 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch down there in Montpelier. And that's, they were the light end of the forecast the day before. Now the focus is more down there, and you can see it's really letting up in places like Chalice and in Lemhi County. Here are the wind gusts. You can see not much happening here at all. It doesn't even qualify as breezy. And then high temperatures for Monday. You can see with the break in the clouds, temperatures spike way up. We're all in the 60s now in the lower elevations. And then overnight lows, not quite as cold as the night before. There may still be a frost advisory out for portions of the upper Snake River Plain, so we'll have to watch that and monitor just how cold it gets, because a couple degrees swing either way could expand or contract the area affected on Monday night. Okay, finally here on Tuesday, you can start to see there are breaks in the precipitation. There's less and less of it. Still some high elevation mountain snow and some low elevation precipitation. So here's the snowfall amounts Tuesday through Wednesday. So it's a 24-hour total. Again, Tuesday 6 a.m. to Wednesday morning 6 a.m. And we're looking at 1 to 2 inches at some of the higher elevations. Most of this falling likely during Tuesday night. And here's where the thunderstorms now are limited to basically a Stanley-Du Bois line. You have to be north of that, and it should be a lot more peaceful south of that. Here the wind gusts. You can see wind picks up a little bit, but it's not great. There's some gusts to around 30 miles an hour close to the Monida Pass. And then high temperatures actually cooling down somewhat with the return of cloud cover for the afternoon. And overnight lows on Tuesday night, you can see they're much milder, and that's because we will be having cloud cover during the overnight, and that's what's producing the snow. That's all I have. If you have any further questions, you can always contact us at the telephone number at the bottom center of the screen, or check out the weather yourself at weather.gov/Pocatello. Thanks for watching.